All right, so in this video, I'm going to break down the 4 essential mindsets that every real estate agent needs in order to build a 6-figure listing agent business. So before we jump into today's training, I actually have some good news. I just dropped a free workshop that you can get access to right now. There's a link in the description. It's our 6-figure listing agent blueprint. It's going to show you step by step exactly what you have to do in order to generate a 6-figure listing agent business. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the mindsets in order to accomplish a 6-figure listing agent business. And then after watching this video, you can actually go through the free workshop. Again, there's a link in the description that will put the pieces together, showing you step by step how to build that listing agent business. So let's go ahead and jump into this thing. All right. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is something called creating a weekly no goal. So what do I mean by a weekly no goal? Well, here's the reality. The reality is this, that in order to get what it is that you want, you must first have the courage to ask for what you want. And so the problem is this: when I talk to real estate agents and they're not where they want to be, and I start to listen to their calls, I start to listen and break down their listing appointment, they actually don't ask for what it is that they want. They beat around the bush. They kind of hint to it a little bit here and there, but they're never in a position where they ask the person or the prospect for what it is that they want. They never ask for the appointment. They never ask for the referral. They just don't ask. They don't ask for the listing. They don't ask for an introduction to a referral partner. And because they don't ask, they don't get. Whatever they do get, however, it's because they got lucky. So we have to build what we call a tolerance to rejection, and then seek out and embrace the rejection every single day. And so the goal is to put ourselves in a situation to get the rejection. Why? Well, here's what we know. The amount of rejection we get daily reflects the amount of money we earn annually. I'll say that one more time. The amount of rejection we get daily will reflect the amount of money you earn annually. And so if you're not where you want to be and you don't have a consistent 6-figure plus income, it could be because we're not getting enough rejection. And here's the goal. All right. The goal is to create a weekly goal where we actually get the rejection. The goal is to get the rejection. So here's what you want to do. You want to create a weekly no goal. Well, Brandon, that sounds crazy. Well, the goal is to seek out those no's. Why? Because yes lives in the land of no. That's the truth. That's the reality. What I mean by that is this. All of you know this already, but let me put it to you this way. If we don't ask, you live in this land of vagueness where you're talking with a bunch of prospects and everything is vague. The next steps are vague. What's going to happen next is vague. Should you follow up is vague. Do you have an appointment is vague. Do you not have an appointment is vague. Are you moving forward? Everything is vague because our unwillingness to hear the word no then puts us in a position where we don't even ask anyways. And so you live in this world where people are like, well, yeah, sure. Let me think about it and I'll get back to you. And you have no certainty. No is really the only thing that we have in business that puts a bookend to it. It has certainty. And so we have to ask, because through asking and receiving someone's decision not to do something, through that activity is the only way you're going to find that you do get commitments that you're looking for. But if you don't ask, you don't get. So my recommendation is this, is that you create a goal every week to get 100 people to tell you no. 100 people. And the reason why I come up with that number 100 is this. Through tracking over 6,000 agents' numbers that I coach, we know that the average is about a 10% conversation to what we call a lead generated ratio. So in this case, or in this example rather, if we had 100 people in a week tell us, no, I'm not interested in meeting with you, no, I already have a real estate agent. What would happen is you would find that in that 5-day period, because I want you taking nights and weekends off, that you would have 10 people through that activity every week that actually would say, yes, I do want to meet with you. Yes, I do want to interview you. Yes, I would love to talk with you when the time comes to sell my house. And so that is lesson number 1. Let's get into lesson number 2. So in order to build a 6-figure listing agent business, we have to get what we call market validation. Here's what I mean. So when we look to scale our business, we have to get the business to validate. We have to get the market, rather, to validate our offer. And so what do I mean by that? So certainly what we offer is our service, right? And so our service is the thing that actually brings value, aka something a prospect would actually agree to pay for, right? Your commission. The question is how? How do we actually get market validation on the offer in which we make, which is, again, our service? Number 1, you have to record your listing presentation on camera and watch it. We call these game films. In order to go out there into the marketplace and scale your business, meaning you're going to take lots of listings, right? That's the goal. That's the name of the game. That's what we're here to talk about. In order to do that, we first have to get what it is that our prospects are going to see on camera so that we ourselves can go back and watch and listen to what our prospects are going to watch and listen. And we can make tweaks. So that's number 1. Number 2, we have to do a minimum of what I call 10 present backs. So you're going to put yourself in a situation where you're presenting to 10 people that you know as practice presentations, if you will. So we're going to grab 10 people. It might be your broker. It might be your colleagues in the office. It might be friends. It might be family. We want 10 of these. When you present your listing presentation, we also want those to be filmed on camera, and we call these present backs. And through that presentation and through that activity, you're going to get feedback from those 10 people. Hey, what part did you find that was compelling? What part did you feel like it was a little uncertain? What parts do you think I needed to work on the most? And you're going to get feedback from a minimum of 10 people. And then you're going to go back and watch that game film. So you're going to practice by yourself with your game film. And then you're going to practice with 10 people that you know. You're going to get their feedback. You're going to do a game film on yourself, make some tweaks. This is what I mean by getting market validation. Before you go out there and you start to really set a lot of appointments, you start going on a lot of appointments, you start taking listings, let's have the market validate your offer, aka your service that you're offering sellers, before you go out there and try it on your prospective clients. Lesson number 3 is what I call the 180-day rule. So the 180-day rule, here's what it is. It has 2 parts to this thing. Number 1 is the 90-day law of the harvest. And that means this, that what we do for 90 days, we don't see the reward for that thing until 90 days later. So if you really want to build a 6-figure listing agent business, we have to understand this 180-day rule. Part 1, which is the law of the harvest, that I have to put my head down. I have to focus for a minimum of 90 days because it's a 90-day cycle. What I do over the next 90 days will manifest in the actual results 90 days later. Unfortunately, as you probably know by now, we are not in an instant gratification business, which poses a lot of issues for agents that are looking for that instant gratification. And then part 2, we don't want to judge any of your results on the strategy that you're doing for a minimum of 180 days. That is 6 months. What we don't want to do is put ourselves in a situation where we have a bunch of half-built bridges of things that we keep trying. I'm going to try this thing for 30 days, and if it doesn't work, then I'm going to go chase the next shiny object, and I'm going to try that thing for the next 30 days, and if it doesn't work in 30 days, I'm going to continue going down this cycle of trying and changing brokerages and changing this lead company and changing that strategy and changing my logo and changing my branding and change. And therefore, you can't build any momentum and you never get to reap the reward of the compound effect. So lesson 3 for agents that aren't to a 6-figure or multiple 6-figure income is to understand the 180-day rule. That I've got to focus on one thing for a minimum of 6 months, and I have to understand that the law of the harvest in our business takes a minimum of 90 days for you to start really seeing results. Let's talk about lesson number 4. Now, not how. This is a massive one. So done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. What I mean by that is this. So many agents are so obsessed with the how, the tactic, the how do I do this and how do I do that? And that is what they spend their weeks and their months and their hours doing rather than doing anything. They spend their time learning how to do something instead of actually doing anything. And they find themselves in this analysis paralysis because they're seeking out perfection. And we know that perfection is simply procrastination in disguise, don't we? And so I see this all the time. Rather than go out there and apply, because here's the truth. You already have enough information. You don't need more information. You need more execution of the information you already have. There's not this secret information out there that, if you keep searching, one YouTube video after the next, and one podcast after the next, and one seminar after the next, and one coach after the next, that magically, there's the information I was looking for. It's not going to happen. And most agents trick themselves in thinking that they're being productive, that they're actually moving their business forward, while we know that the learning, my friend, is in the actual doing. That's where the learning actually takes place. It takes place in you doing the thing, having the conversation, going on the appointment, throwing the open house, trying this lead platform, trying this new skill. We're going to learn a lot more in that doing than we will in preparation. Now, listen, does that mean that, you're not going to do any preparation at all? You're just going to go willy-nilly and go out there like a crazy No, you're not going to do that either. But we want to make sure that as you're out there looking to scale your business, that you have a now, not how mentality. That you say to yourself, I'm going to do this right now. Even if I don't know exactly all the semantics and the nuance and the context and the details, I'm going to still do it. I'm still going to do it. I have agents that I coach, and it comes up on, seems like every first coaching call. And the question is this, Brandon, should I start prospecting even though I don't know the scripts and I don't know my listing presentation that well? And I always tell them this story, and I'll tell it to you guys right now because I think it's impactful. You got really two options. You've got an option of option A, which is to spend your time and energy learning and putting, learning the scripts and learning the presentation, and maybe you're going to spend the next, we'll just call it the next 30 days. You're not going to actually do any real prospecting with any real prospects. You're going to spend the next 30 days, okay, in prep, we'll call it, listening to podcasts, going through courses, going through YouTube videos, practicing your script. You're not going to actually have any conversations with any real prospects. And you say to yourself, well, I'm going to spend the next 30 days really learning as much as I possibly can, and then I'll start in 30 days. Okay. In that option, is it fair to say, because you're not actually having any conversations with any real prospects, you're not going on any real appointments with any real people, that you're not going to get any clients, right? That's safe to assume that. I think you'd agree to that. Okay, perfect. That's option 1. Option 2 is the agent who says from day 1, as I am learning, as I am mastering my scripts and my dialogues and my follow-up systems and my presentation, et cetera, as I'm doing that, at the same time, I'm actually going to be prospecting and calling and communicating with real consumers in the marketplace. Even though I don't know what I'm doing yet, And I'm going to go meet with these people, even though I don't know what I'm doing yet, because watch. Is it also safe to assume that because that agent doesn't know what he or she is doing, that most likely over that same 30-day period of time, as they're meeting with consumers and they don't know what they're doing, that most likely they still wouldn't get any clients. They still wouldn't get any clients because they don't have a captivating listing presentation. They don't have a real value offer. They don't have any of that stuff. They're still not going to get any clients, right? So both scenarios, you end up with the same thing, which is no clients. Okay, but here's the thing: what does Agent B have that Agent A does not have? Real world experience. Because they have done it. Here's what I believe, and here's what I've seen hundreds, if not thousands of times, is Agent B, because they both, listen, it was both 30 days. Agent A has not met with a client yet. Agent B has met with many, many clients and has failed many, many, many times. And they both went through the same training period. I believe in the months to follow, Agent B will find results much faster than Agent A, because Agent A, even after 30 days of learning and training, they're still starting from ground zero, where Agent B went through the same training in 30 days, but they have 30 days of failures behind them. They have 30 days of trial and error. They have 30 days of experience. So in the following 30 days, now they can apply what it is that they have learned from the training. And the learning curve now is cut down, because why? The learning is in the doing. So if you can apply this mindset of like, I don't have to have all the answers to go out there and execute. I can make the video right now. Is it going to be the perfect video? No, it is not. But we have to stop this all or nothing thinking that, listen, I'm going to do the perfect thing, or I'm not going to do it at all. Because we have to think in terms of iteration. I'm looking at my cell phone right now, right? This is the iPhone, I think 13 or 14 or 15. I don't know. Who knows? iPhone, whatever. Could you imagine for a second that Apple, over all these years, okay, I got this year, 2024. Could you imagine that Apple, over the last 20 years, or however long it's been since the first iPhone has come out, didn't make the iPhone because they're like, well, it's not perfect. We don't have the 3-camera thing. We don't have this feature. We don't have that feature. So we're not coming out to the market. They didn't do that. What did they do? They came out with iPhone 1. Remember? And iPhone 1 was not the same version as iPhone, whatever this is. They iterated. It's a process of iteration. It's a process of getting better. So instead of trying to get every single thing perfect, it's like, well, I'm going to go out there with the first version of my listing presentation. Is it perfect? By golly, no. But it's version 1 is better than version 0, and version 2 will be better than version 1. And so having this now, not how mentality, I think will help to put you into action instead of procrastination.